I noticed today, like I always buy myself some Dolo. I just wish I would have been Dolo rocking a little bit more. Like I said, every time I got in trouble, I always got in trouble with somebody. So now I just make sure I got down. You know, you live and you learn though. So everything I went through taught a nigga. I just wish I would have knew it. A nigga would have gave a nigga the game more. I just know it's like niggas around was really kind of benefiting off of a nigga. Rather you telling me to sell drugs, you know, I'm bringing the money to you type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, each one teach one. I just like niggas Dolo or some shit like that. Cause they ain't trying to get in trouble fucking with everybody. LaScrilla from Savannah, Georgia, the port, east side.
Okay. Growing up in Savannah, man, by what age did you really get involved in the streets, or at least start recognizing what the streets was?
Officially about 14. Shit, I say 14 on nigga probably was. I say 14 because that's when a nigga start selling crack, stealing cars, got pussy for the first time, went to juvenile, all like 14.
Okay. What pushed you to get in the streets at such an early age?
Man, it's just like the environment, you know what I'm saying? If a nigga probably was around doctors and lawyers, a nigga probably want to be a doctor and lawyer, but everybody was successful, seemed like niggas who was hustling and shit. Nigga just wanted more for themselves.
Right. Can you talk about some of the things you experienced, or some of the losses you took in the streets that kind of changed you?
Betrayal, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like every nigga a childhood friend, and like, niggas ain't around no more, niggas gone, niggas locked up, a nigga just did some shit where you can't forgive. So, that's what I say.
So at what point during all that time did you discover a love for music?
Shit. Nigga always had a passion for music, man. I remember when I was like 13 or some shit, my mama got me a beat machine and shit. And I used to try to make little beats and record it on the little Walkman and shit. But you know, while a nigga was locked up, that's when a nigga like, boy, when I get out this shit, I'ma really be rapping and shit. But you know, it's all part of the culture. Everybody wanna be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a nigga hustling more than rapping. And never really been the best rapper, nigga was just a hell of a hustler. So I just made sure I put myself in that type of situation.
So you mentioned you really turned up after you came home.
Facts.
What charge did you initially catch to get sent to prison?
Well, I've been to prison twice. One time I was like 18. I did 6 years, and then I stayed out a couple years. I went back and did 4. So you talking about the first time or the second time?
Really the first time. We're gonna speak on the second one a little bit later, but really the first time. Like, what was how you ended up catching that charge?
Shit. You know what? Just toting that hammer and dealing guns at a partner that was on the run with me. You know what's crazy? Every time I got locked up, I always had somebody with me. So we was on 39th Factory at a car wash, and police ran up, but they was already kind of looking for us all that day. Somebody told back then. To this day, I still don't know who it was, and this was over 10 years ago that somebody did that. So the nigga ass caught some charges. The feds picked up a nigga hammer charge. They drop it if I take my state deal. It was just like a lot of, but the state deal was 15 years, so it's like I ain't had to take 15 from the state. I would just let the feds handle it. But if I let the feds handle it, I gotta do state and fed time. That shit weighs so motherfucking. I ended up taking 15 years from the state and ended up doing 6 years off of it.
Okay. For the people that don't know, kind of explain like what's the difference in the state and the fed?
At this time, this was a non-violent charge. I know if I take 15, I'm gonna do 5 years off of it. But when you get fed time, what they say you doing, that's usually do the whole thing. It's just a better parole system in the fed. So, you know, shout out to the parole board. So I just went ahead and did state time. But had indictments from the feds and shit though.
Okay. You said your first situation,
Mm-hmm.
you ended up doing 6 years. Like, what was going through your head when that judge gave you that time and you pretty much knew you had to go sit down for a little second?
I mean, at that time, I guess you so young and it don't hit you, and you just like caught what was going on around you. It seemed it kind of regular because everybody niggas running with was getting kind of bamped out at that time and shit. I don't know. A nigga mind was so, I guess, kind of young, cause shit, I was used to being a hustler, nigga. But I remember when I was doing 6, like that shit changed, nigga. Nigga been fucked up type shit, like calling mom Dukes to send me $20 for commissary and all this shit, and just being young, getting in trouble doing little dumb shit, crashing out and all. So I don't know. It started weighing in time, but shit, you know, people thought a nigga was going crazy and that shit, but really, nigga just had to get back out here in society. You kind of get stuck in a certain mind state at the age you went in. So when a nigga got out, nigga just had to grow up fast.
Right. What was that first night like? Like what was going through your head once you finally got in there, got in your bunk, got situated? Like what was going through your head when you finally laid down?
It's just like it's life changing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta step out. Sometimes, you know what, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes you gotta be something you ain't just to figure out what the fuck you is. When you young like that, it's like, shit, I ain't gonna let a nigga play with me, I ain't going out bad. You got all this shit in your head, but it's just like, you gotta go get a knife off the rip. You know what I'm saying? I'm a cool nigga, but a nigga ain't about to try to, like, my name all I got. You know what I'm saying? Same way I be out here on some cool shit, I was in there. Nigga just mind their business and stay out the way. And how Savannah set up the road, you know, we like more unity up the road. When we out here, we at each other throat. You might see niggas who wasn't even fucking with each other up the road, they locked in. Get back out here and niggas might get back to spinning. But, so you know what I'm saying? So it was always on some shit like, all we got is the Pope, Savannah. So that was always a plus, you know what I'm saying, being from here. So, you know, my city got a nigga a long way.
Okay. What's some of the wildest things you saw in that first video?
Ah, shit. Nigga, I remember one time I was on the yard, you know what I'm saying? You walk by. I remember a tall ass sister was on a little white boy sucking his dick while we outside on the yard. Like that shit ain't regular, bro. You know what I'm saying? Niggas who smile at each other face gambling, you might get a call from somebody from a whole nother camp or whatever, like, man, we going to war with these niggas. And next thing you know, niggas stabbing each other. They were just laughing with each other type shit. Niggas I saw 2 people get stabbed over one suit, like, and they ain't even the one who took the suit. He ain't know what the fuck his suit was at. He just go to stabbing folks.
How you dealt with it, like how did all that affect your mental? You know, when you were still young in age, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you know, it's like I say, you just gotta mind your fucking business. And it's crazy. I remember some of my best time was really when a nigga in the hole, cause you away from everything. Like, it's a peace of mind, it's a solitude. You kind of away from the fuck shit. You know, you just have way less. But man, a nigga just really going with the flow. You know what I'm saying? That's all I could really say. It's gonna be different for everybody. It's really the type of pressure, but just mind your business, you know what I'm saying? I always been a civilian. I never joined no gang or nothing. So a lot of people, when they see pressure, they be joining gangs and shit. But that go back with niggas saying they from Savannah, so a nigga was alright.
what was that feeling like when you got that first release date?
Well, that shit was unreal. It don't feel real. Even when you come out, this shit still don't feel real. It take a while to hit, cause it just like you been somewhere so long and then you get something that seem like it's a dream. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't, like nigga ain't wake up for a while. Like, I remember the first time I got out, my cousin let me live with her, parole to her shit, and I was just like sleeping on the couch, sleeping on the floor, ain't had no cell phone, ain't had no clothes, not shit, but I was just so happy to be out, ain't had nothing. It was like other shit was more important than money, you know what I'm saying? Like, just having your freedom, having family, just seeing cars, you could hop in and out of car, going to get a haircut. It just made a nigga appreciate life more, and it's a lot of shit people take for granted.
Once you got released, how long it really took you to readjust to the society?
It was pressure. Like I said, I was staying with my folks, and that house kind of deep, and it's like, reality hit fast. You know what I'm saying? You nigga grown now. Folks don't really know me because I've been gone, so people already look at me like I'm a troublemaker and shit. Every time I open up the refrigerator, you gotta hear somebody yelling like, damn, y'all ain't doing nothing and all this shit. So it just kind of make you like, well, I gotta find a way. And nigga kind of go back to doing what they know best, but at the same time, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it.
So you out, you know what I'm saying? You kind of get back on your feet. You doing the music thing now. Explain what that was like, you know, because you took it further. As far as Savannah, you took it further than a lot of artists in a small amount of time. And you did it by yourself. No cosign, no real group of people around you, no bunch of homeboys. You kind of did it by yourself. So what was that like?
Yeah, man. Shit. Yeah, first time when I came home, off the first bid, just like you gotta be resourceful. Ain't about what you know, it's about who you know. Even though I ain't know shit, I ain't know nobody. I just knew I wanted to rap. And when I linked with Scholar knew everybody around the city. So I was on some shit like Scholar, man. Tell these folks, money ain't no problem. Just use your resources, and I'ma back it up. And I got the talent, and we had got on some no loss, too smart shit. But and then that made me notice it was all about resources. Cause once I got to the max with him, then I went on to the next level. I mean, I went on to the next person, got as far as I could with them. It just kind of like, it was a step-by-step thing. But I know every day I woke up, I was on some shit like, I'm on some rap shit. Something gotta happen every day, you know what I'm saying? And shit, that's just how that was a nigga mentality, you know? So I made a lot of mistakes, but shit, the quicker nigga make mistakes, the quicker nigga could go on, you know what I'm saying? You got to. And it was just all part of building this system, leading the nigga up. So when I came in again, I couldn't just be no artist, and I ain't never had nobody over me, no CEO, no owners, no managers, none of that shit. I just always had like people I just, you know, shake hands and we gonna roll out. So now I got a nigga learning that it's a difference between music and music business. So I always like had to learn how to be a exec and CEO and how to spend their own money and shit. So, you know, niggas just putting their money where their mouth was.
So like, during this time, you know, while you grinding with the music, you've been successful and all this, you have a daughter. And you end up losing that daughter. How did that affect you overall? Not just as an artist, not just as a father, but just as a man, completely.
That shit crazy. Cause that's probably when the nigga was at this peak with the music shit, and something like so detrimental happen. You lose your loved one. Cause I was actually on I was gearing up for a tour at that time. I had my loved one, you know what I'm saying, my first child, Lyra. And I was there a few days, washed up, we took her home, signed everything, and then I ended up taking her home, I ended up getting back on tour. Then like probably like the first, second day I get a call like, she gotta go back to the hospital, so she ain't live long. But you know what I'm saying? When it hits you, you don't really notice. People on the outside probably notice as much as I did, cause I don't never cry. I always keep shit bottled up for some reason, you know what I'm saying? But I guess it was messing with my performance, cause I just like, after something like that happening, you gotta take care of it, like pay for funerals, tombstones, and just all this other shit that come with it. You kinda, I don't know, it do change you, but I ain't really been, I should've just kept working through it though, but people's thinking a nigga a machine. And I remember I just kinda took a break, and when I came back around, it's like I had to start over again. And I don't know, I guess a nigga mind wasn't really with it too much, because after it happened, then that's when I started noticing like, damn, boy, I'm spending all this shit on rap, this shit ain't kicking in. I started thinking about all the negative and the difficult shit was coming along with it. But I remember Bigger Rankin told me one time, shit still stick with me like, man, shit, she died so you could keep doing this, dog, you really gotta go harder than ever. So when I sit back at the time, I be like, dog, nigga should've just sacrificed more and just went full throttle in this, cause I did have people, I had like better relationships in the system back then, but a nigga, like, you know, nigga ain't no machine, so I wish a nigga would've went harder though, to tell you the truth at that point.
Regardless of what, I think you did the right thing when it comes to that, cause you might end up souring certain relationships just off of certain overnight grieving property. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you definitely did the right thing as far as taking that time to heal.
Yeah, that was so.
Get some healing from. Now we at the point of, you know, you still grinding, but you lost your daughter. You kind of shaking back, getting in the mood of things. Catch another charge.
And then catch another charge, and we were about to go crazy. And I caught a charge, and it's like, it was uncalled for. And then one thing I noticed about the system down here, especially in Chatham County, is racist. And if you got a little name, you really a target, you gonna be one of them niggas they ain't trying to do shit for. Like, they trying to, like last time I got locked up, they wasn't offering me no deals, and they offer everybody else a deal. I always had paid lawyers, like that shit wasn't even helping or nothing. And they made a nigga go to trial, and the charges wasn't even really that serious. You find a way to give me 30, 20 years, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had a co-defendant that time too. So shit, it was just a fucked up time. Like before, it took me 2 years to even get my time. Then they ended up giving me 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, when I caught that shit, though, I like, boy, I ain't caught no 30 years. Boy, it got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no motherfucking way I'm about to do 30 years. I always had in my mind, like, I ain't accepting that shit. You feel me? And I just did it the way I know best. I mean, when I got back up the road, like, I came back in going straight to the law library because you got access to shit like that. Every nigga who kind of knew the law, I was always paying them to help me. Nigga could hustle in the chain gang, so I was sending money out so I could actually get real lawyers and shit. And I just been finding flaws. I knew when they was giving me the time, they was making mistakes and shit the whole time. I guess that came from always being in and out since I was little. You know what I'm saying? I know the law. So a nigga just found out they flaw and worked.
How long you end up sitting on the second time?
4 years. 4 years, 3 months.
What you did now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, happy to have you back on the streets. What's been going on since you've been out this time?
It's different. It's way different. Like back then when the nigga first started, I've been rapping since 2015 and I got locked up 2017. Got out about a year and a half ago to be exact. So I remember back then, niggas was still on like guerrilla marketing in the streets, but it was always like social media gonna be really the new thing that's gonna take over everything. But I came from an era where we was still passing out CDs, putting up posts. We was doing more work in the land a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? And now when I come home now, it's more internet than anything. So everybody rap, and it's so easy to, like what they say about 60,000 songs get put out a day. And you might be a nigga with the system and putting more money into it, but you might not be as popular. I'm not as popular as a lot of young niggas now, you know what I'm saying? Nigga ass older, so it's kind of like the youth got that shit on smash. But if you can find a way to do that and still be active in the streets, I think you still need to do shit in the streets too, as far as like marketing and shit. But that's the main difference I see. Like, man, you can have somebody that don't even rap and they come around jamming their shit, or when they hear you not really as special as you was, cause shit, we all rap, you know what I'm saying? I remember back then I was like one of the youngest rappers, and I was like one of the oldest rappers. Mm-hmm.
You made it to a point that a lot of niggas ain't made it to.
Yeah, facts. I ain't mad about this shit at all, dog. And I think all that shit nigga been through still count though. Like rather, I'm more taking the artist, taking the exec route, CEO management type route though. I can still get the same type of cheese doing this shit. And I found I got a passion for this shit. I like being a nigga in the background, playing the scene, making sure nigga shit get ran right. And I want to be somebody for artists that I wish somebody was for me.
So throughout all the different shit that you had in your life, all the different experiences and all that, if you could do any of it over again, would you change anything about it?
Man, you know, some people thought they wouldn't change shit, but damn right a nigga would change something. For real. So a nigga could be in a better situation. I noticed today, like I always buy myself on dolo. I just wish I would have been dolo rocking a little bit more. Like I said, every time I got in trouble, I always got in trouble with somebody. So now I just make sure I got down. You know, you live and you learn though. So everything I went through taught a nigga. I just wish I would have knew it. Or a nigga would have gave a nigga the game more. I just know it's like niggas around was really kind of benefiting off of a nigga. Rather you telling me to sell drugs, you know, I'm bring the money to you type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, each one teach one. I just like nigga just dolo or some shit like that, cause nigga ain't trying to get in trouble fucking with everybody.
What message you got for the younger generation that's coming up in the streets? You know,
Man.
That ain't necessarily been locked up, but they throwing rocks at the same game.
Man, listen to Julio Suave 187, the hottest young nigga right now. Listen, we got all the right answers, man. Julio Suave 187, that nigga they tough. Listen to his shit, he got all the answers. That's what I tell him. I tell him listen to Julio Suave 187. Yeah.
Shout out Julio. I shot some shit for him before.
Oh yeah, nigga, they hard.
Well, you know, LaScrilla, man, we appreciate you stopping through, telling a piece of your story. You know what I'm saying? Give us some game, give us some wisdom to some people who might not have it. You know what I'm saying? Tell us where we can find you at as far as social media. We talk about, you know, what else you got coming up.
Yeah, at LaScrilla on every site. Name's still the same. Shit, you know, I'm in the management now, so We doing my daughter YouTube channel. My pops got his own OnlyFans, Julio Suave, with his doing this thing in this rap shit, man. So we got down. I'm trying to build relationships. If you know any way we can get some money, man, tap in with me at LaScrilla. Anyway.
All right, man. We appreciate you stopping through, man. It's all love. Hopefully you see some more work for you in the future.
For sure. Love.
Love.